And Barak Yahweh Brakatha, Yahweh Shah, Barak Yahweh Brakatha, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. Lesson will be entitled David's Integrity. 1 Samuel 18:1. And it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul that the spirit of Jonathan was knit with the spirit of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Knit in the Hebrew is going into how they bonded, a brotherly covenant, going into their brotherly love. Verse 2, and Saul took him that day and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Him referring to David. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant. Why? Going back to verse 1, how Jonathan was knit with the spirit of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own spirit. Back into verse 3. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own spirit. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was on him and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. And it came to pass, as they came when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, that the women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tabrets and with joy and with instruments of music. And the women answered one another as they played, and said, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And Saul was very wroth, meaning angry, and the saying displeased him, and he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have? Salakia. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day and forward. And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from the Most High came on Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand. Keep this in mind. Let's go to 1 Samuel 19:1. And Saul spoke to Jonathan, his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill David. Why? Because Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, sent an evil spirit on Saul. Okay? Remember, this thing called life is nothing but a movie, okay, that Yahweh and Yahweh Shah produced. Verse 2. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. Why? Going into how much Jonathan loved David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father, seek to kill you. Now therefore I pray you, take heed to yourself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide yourself. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I will commune with my father for you, and what I see, that I will tell you. Now we see who's Jonathan's allegiance to. Okay? And Jonathan spoke good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he has not sinned against you, and because his works have been to thee ward very good. Meaning you word very good. For he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine, and the Lord Yahweh wrought a great salvation for all Israel. You saw it and did rejoice. Wherefore then will you sin against innocent blood to slay David without a cause? And Saul listened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, As the Lord Yahweh lived, he shall not be slain. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all those things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence, as in times past. And there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines, and slew them with a great slaughter. And they fled from him, and the evil spirit from the Lord Yahweh was on Saul, as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand. And Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence. And he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. Now, both accounts showed how Saul attempted to murder David. 1 Samuel 20:1. And David fled from Naioth and Ramah, and came and said before Jonathan, What have I done? What is my iniquity? And what is my sin before your father, that he seek my life? And he said unto him, The Most High forbid, you shall not die. Behold, my father will do nothing either great or small, but that he will show it me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. And David swore moreover and said, Your father certainly know that I have found grace in your eyes. And he said, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord Yahweh live, and as your soul live, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan to David, Whatsoever your soul desire, I will even do it for you. And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king and meat. But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field unto the third day at even. If your father at all miss me, then say David earnestly asked leave of me, that he might run to Bethlehem his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. If he say thus, It is well, your servant shall have peace. But if he be very wroth, then be sure that evil is determined by him. Therefore you shall deal kindly with your servant, for you have brought your servant into a covenant of the Lord Yahweh with you. Notwithstanding, if there be in me iniquity, slay me yourself. For why should you bring me to your father? And Jonathan said, Far be it from you. For if I knew certainly that evil were determined by my father to come on you, then would not I tell you? This is brotherly love. Then said David to Jonathan, Who shall tell me, or what if your father answer you roughly? And Jonathan said unto David, Come, and let us go out into the field. And they went out both of them into the field. And Jonathan said unto David, O Lord Yahweh, the power of Israel, when I have sounded my father about tomorrow, any time, or the third day, and behold, if there be good toward David, and I then send not unto you and show it you, the Lord Yahweh do so and much more to Jonathan. But if it please my father to do evil, then I will show it you and send you away, that you may go in peace, and that and the Lord Yahweh be with you. And as Salakia, let me read that again. I will show it you and send you away, that you may go in peace, and the Lord Yahweh will be with you as he has been with my father. And you shall not only, while yet I live, show me the kindness of the Lord Yahweh, that I die not, but also you shall not cut off your kindness from my house forever. No, not when the Lord Yahweh have cut off your enemies of David, everyone from the face of earth. And Jonathan saw King David. Salakia. Jonathan saw David as king via the Holy Spirit. Okay? He's prophesying. Verse 16, so Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, let the Lord Yahweh even require it at the hand of David's enemies. And Jonathan caused David to swear again, because he loved him, for he loved him as he loved his own soul. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and you shall be missed, because your seat will be empty. And when you have stayed 3 days, then you shall go down quickly and come to the place where you did hide yourself when the business was in hand, and shall remain by the stone Ezel. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as I do Salakia. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as though I shot at the mark. And behold, I will send a lad, saying, go, find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, behold, the arrows are on the side of you, take them, then come you. For there is peace to you, and no hurt, as the Lord Yahweh live. But if I say thus unto the young man, behold, the arrows are beyond you, go your way, for the Lord Yahweh has sent you away. And as touching the matter which you and I have spoken of, behold, the Lord Yahweh be between you and me forever. All right, so if you can receive this in the spirit, at this time frame, if Jonathan is on earth, he is part of the house of David, or he is the house of David because of this covenant. Okay, as you can see, there are elect men in the house of Saul, if you can receive that in the spirit. All right, so let's go back to it. So David hid himself in the field. When the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat, and the king sat on his seat, as at other times, even on a seat by the wall. And Jonathan rose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spoke not anything that day, for he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean, surely he is not clean. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore come not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. And he said, let me go, I pray you, for our family have a sacrifice in the city, and my brother. He have commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found favor in your eyes, let me get away, I pray you, and see my brethren. Therefore he came not unto the king's table. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, you son of the perverse, rebellious woman, do not I know that you have chosen the son of Jesse to your own confusion, and unto the confusion of your mother's nakedness? All right. Now, the reason why I got these 3 accounts out is going into David's integrity. Integrity goes into the definition or the origin of innocence. Okay? Now, we know that King David was innocent, and more importantly, he moved in the spirit of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. All right, there was actually times that he could have killed Saul, and he didn't, because he respected Saul as being Yahweh's anointed. Now, the point of this lesson is, not one time did King David influence Jonathan to leave his father and move with him. Going into the title of this lesson, David's integrity, David's innocence. Lord will, you're edified. Shalom.